Hey everyone, Coach Powers here, and today I want to talk about the benefits of having a benzo recovery coach. Now, a lot of people ask me, do I need a coach? Should I have a coach? And of course, the answer differs for everyone. But here's a few questions you might ask yourself to see if maybe a benzo recovery coach could be a good fit for you. So number one, ask yourself this: am I making good recovery progress? Really be objective. Look at where you are, whether you're just beginning your taper, or if you're at the end, or you're post, you've completed your taper and now you're just healing after benzos, life after benzos, as I say. Ask yourself, what kind of progress are you making? Number two, are there specific areas that you're struggling with? In other words, could you be making better progress in some areas? Are there areas that you just really, really struggle with? Maybe it's the taper, it's rumination, it's sleep, it's support, it's understanding the self-fueling loop of mental illness that often accompanies us once we get off benzos. Number three, could I benefit from a consultation and or assessment, which is kind of similar to the same thing. Meaning consultation means you call a coach, and this happens a lot with me, someone, maybe they're not looking for a long-term coaching, maybe they've got a pretty good handle on things, but they just, they're a little unsure. There's some areas that they're struggling with. Maybe they need some more confidence. Maybe they just need someone to say, hey, here's my full story. Let me know what you think, because let's face it, it gives you a peace of mind, right? I know when I was going through this, if I could have, called someone, oh my God, I would have paid anything to talk to someone just for an hour and say, here's my story. Here's what the hell I went through. Make sense of this. Help me make sense of this. Is this normal? Am I a rare case? What do you see? To talk to someone who sees so many cases like this, where do I fall in? What do you see as my prognosis or my outcome? So am I moving in the right area? Is this going to take years? I mean, just to have that consultation and that assessment, I think is really important. A lot of us, need that. And after even just 1 hour of having a consultation is enough to sort of get a good, have a coach hear your full story, make sense of it, give you their breakdown of their assessment of where you could improve and what things you might be doing differently, and then give you just a sense of where you are. I think that's just really powerful. And like I said, I know when I was going through this, if I could have done that, oh my God, I would have loved it. I was really in the dark, and a lot of us are in the dark, and we go into these forums and we're looking for answers in comment sections, and we're talking to everybody, and almost no one has any answers, right? So number four, could I use support? Could you benefit from support? Well, I think everybody can, but moreover, are you getting the right quality support, right? Because you can be in one of these forums, and what feels like support is really negative reinforcement. It's almost becomes confirmation bias, where now the things that were just fears are starting to be confirmed by other cases and stories that you're hearing, and you start to believe that, wow, that must be me. That's going to be me, and that, man, nothing's more of a detriment to your recovery than not having faith in the process. So that's where having a good support, from someone who's trained, especially with a mental health background, who's preferably gone through benzo recovery and made a full recovery and knows how they did it and can explain that, and just can validate your experiences, know where you've been, know where you are, and really have empathy and not sympathy, right? Because sympathy is just feeling sorry for someone. Empathy is you feel for them because you've been in that same situation. So could you use support? That's a question you might ask. Number five, do you have a program for recovery? Again, this is, to me, the bread and butter of recovery. You got to have a program. You got to have something you're doing, and not just the usual, well, I do a couple breathing exercises and a little yoga, and I'm low on histamine in my diet, and I cut out caffeine. And I think to a point, now there's so much information on the internet that a lot of us have a pretty good sense. Like we have a pretty good sense of, I guess you could call a benzo recovery hygiene, mental health hygiene. Like we know about certain foods, and we've got the meditation apps and this and that. But it's very different when you have someone that can act, well, first off, that has a program, who has a science and a method behind the madness, so to speak, that can help you tailor a program for your life and look at it Look at what you're doing and where you could improve. I mean, this is a huge part of what I do with people. They come to me and they have stuff they're doing and they feel like they're doing pretty good, and they usually are. And, I refine it. I look over things and I help them expedite things, add new skill sets to their arsenal, a lot of things like that. So the next question, which is really a continuation of the previous question, asks, could I benefit from help creating or refining my own recovery program? And finally, do you need perspective on where your story falls in relations to others? Again, that's, I don't know. I think that's just one of these things that's really powerful, And again, when you're in these forums and you're in the comments of the videos and things, you have to understand it's not a pure reflection of the whole. You're seeing outliers, you're seeing the 1%ers, you're seeing the people that stuck around to talk and share their experiences. People who get better usually don't come back, So when you're really looking at this and you're trying to ask yourself, how many people really get better, and what does success really look like? I'll tell you, it's not what you see in these forums. That's very misleading, and in some ways, self-defeating even, to the mission at hand. Well, anyway, that's some ideas of, can you benefit from a Benzo recovery coach? If you ask me, I think, yeah, in the ideal situation, every one of us should have a great coach, someone who's preferably come through this, has a set of tools and skills and insight to help, guide us through this storm. I think that's perfect, right? On the other hand, yeah, they cost money, and which is more valuable, a Benzo recovery coach or a really good therapist? That's tough to say, That's really tough to say, actually. That's for you to decide. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Until next time, Coach Powers signing out.
I don't wanna let myself